So that's the personal work that has to be done. And we don't get that in our CEs.
Indeed. Same with astrologers, you know. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always say, I think you have to start off, you have to start with some sort of a barter system at first in astrology because I don't know, if you're like me, you don't want to make sure you give them something valuable. You just don't know. You need them as a guinea pig. You need them. So I'm like, look, I'm using you as a guinea pig. So you get the
Yeah.
reading for free. Chances are I'm talking to jumping off a bridge. I don't know. Right. So, but over time, then they get stuck on that. They can't get out of that. And
Right.
so, and I'm always like, okay, well then, so I tell them like, then you go to trades. That's the next step before money, like trade.
Mhm.
Buy me dinner, make me this, do me that, pick up my kids, whatever. Start doing trades for stuff. And so I think you just slowly build up to that value.
Mhm.
But then you get to a point where, and I think you've seen this too, I got to a point where I was like, ridiculous, like $200, $300 an hour, wealthy people who would buy 2 hours, so it'd be like $600 or $700 reading. And they just didn't respect my work that much. Like, as much as like the people more in the middle class. So it's like, you get to where money is no object to them. And I felt like they weren't listening. And
Mhm.
people I was giving it to, I felt they weren't listening. So it's like this, like kind of this Goldilocks spot, this Goldilocks zone, I think, where you feel like you're being respected and you could trade and whatnot. Yeah.
Mhm.
To do that.
Yeah, I recognize that too. And I tell my practitioners, don't, what I hear often is, well, I don't know that they can afford it. And I don't want them to feel burdened. I really want them to be out of pain. I love the big heart in that. Absolutely. And what I say
Yeah.
to the practitioners is stop getting yourself into someone else's wallet. It's none of your business. Get
Mm,
yourself into your own worth.
yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. And the more, do you have recommendations on that? I mean, I happen to know Gina's chart. She's got some badass Grandmaster Taurus stuff in her. So I'm squeezing this out. So how does the person build their worth, do you think?
Um, it's interesting that I have that in my chart because I also needed to build my worth. So I think our psychology and our belief systems, the things we think over and over again, can shadow some of our natural innate chart and programming. At least that was my experience. So I'm
Mm,
not saying this like, oh, it was easy for you, Gina. It really wasn't. It really wasn't. And I got to grow to appreciate the part of my chart that I learned from you. I was like, in fact, I remember learning it from you and thinking, oh God, I have no excuse anymore. What is with this chatter?
mm,
It doesn't work. I'm not even wired this way. What's happening? Well, I was happening. Like you're the only thinker in the space. So I was thinking what I
mhm.
was thinking, and it was overshadowing everything. That's a me thing. That's
Yeah.
the mindset piece, right? It's not a specific strategy that works. I'm
Mhm.
the strategy. So how am I doing that? So when you're asked like, what do I talk about? That,
Mm,
that's how I coach my practitioners. I believe in live training. I'm with them for hours every week. I don't leave them unattended for very long because I believe that we all have things that we get to navigate through. And again, the heart and lungs tell us that we do that together.
mm,
So my practitioners and I are interdependent on each other. My vision gets to come true, which is what I want for the planet and people in their bodies. It gets to come true when I pour into them, the practitioners, and that means meet them where they are, find what's in the gap, support them heartily so that they can go out and have their dreams come true, and then everybody wins.
mm.
And
Love that.
that's how
Yeah. Win-win. And I find, when it comes to expert, honestly, when a person's an expert at something, like usually like truly an expert, the chart's like this person's a grandmaster and you are a grandmaster. I think it's Saturn at 19 degrees Taurus, if I'm not mistaken. That's a grandmaster of business. Usually they inside themselves feel always not enough. The
Hmm.
experts, the people who are super strong never feel strong. The people who are super smart never feel smart. It's like, and I think that drive, it's like, maybe it's a gamey play, or maybe that's what got you to that, but like,
Hmm.
or maybe it's how you got there. It's that past life memory thing where you're like remembering like the struggle you had. So maybe like we were feeling that doubting Thomas or whatever, that was the struggle you had for lifetimes that got you to your expertise. And finally you just remember like, wait a second, actually we realized we were better than everyone. That's right. Like kind of a memory realization. But I find the experts, and here's the other thing too. Quite often, a person's greatest talent is what they use to sabotage themselves. So
Hmm.
usually people choke themselves with their own talent, which is really interesting. Like for instance, healers will always manifest illness, always. Like they'll manifest illness. It's like them using the healing power against themselves. And they're like, if you have health issues, like you're a health expert, actually. What the fuck?
Hmm.
And they're like, I am. I'm like, yeah. Just all you do is just turn around and just quit, stop hating yourself. Stop it. And so people don't realize it, but quite often that's the case. Yeah.
Mm.
It's people who don't think about it at all. Those are the idiots. Like it's not on the mind. It's interesting. Now, do you connect astrology in the body or, esoteric in the body? Are you putting these like putting out your own like Gina map together? Are we gonna have like encyclopedias with Gina stuff in there one day?
Maybe,
That'd be
maybe.
cool. Yay.
I listen to the pep talk every single day, and
Oh,
the step system is what makes the most sense to me. And of all the astrology ever, I told you that when we first met, that it was a friend of mine who said, I want you to come see this guy. He's coming to town and just trust me. And I was like, sure. And I was like, whoa, too much. Give me more, give me more. So it really resonated and made sense to me for a lot of reasons. And so I think about the step system a lot. And I don't quite have a parallel there, but even interestingly enough, today I was thinking, so my next project is to put an oracle deck together with
ooh.
with these ideas like your interdependence. And so, like if you're pulling an oracle card and the oracle card comes up about the heart and the lungs, you get to consider, are you being too dependent? Are you being codependent? Are you not being connected enough? What is that about? So I'm thinking like it's been in the works for a while to put this oracle deck together for the body.
I love it. That's a great idea. I've never seen it.
Would you use it?
I'll use it in the mornings on pep talks.
You would?
I would
So
totally. I would totally if you let me. Yeah. I'd be like,
oh,
we
yes.
pulled the heart and lungs. That makes sense. Heart and lungs.
Okay, great. Well,
I think it's a brilliant idea. I'm actually getting bored with the ones I have. I'm stuck with, like I want more tarot. I want more like variety of just because like we said in the beginning of the interview, like God's brilliance is in everything. So it's like you have different things to look at. It's cool.
Okay, I will absolutely send you a deck.
You have to do it. You have to. I think it's a brilliant idea.
Excellent. I will do it and I will send it to you. And I was thinking, I was like, are there steps in here? Like what step? No, I don't know the step system enough to know. So I was sort of like, I'm looking to answer your question. I'm looking for where astrology comes in, and I know that there's a connection to it. It's not immediately evident to me for the pre-order.
Yeah, pre-order. I do. Oh, you should. You could actually. You should. That way you own it. The copyright of it right away. Actually, so that way it's yours. It's out there. You're selling it. You're raising money for it, so it's yours. Like claim it early.
Okay, I will do that.
Yeah, and you have money. So all they want is a free deck. That's all they want. I'll tell everyone about it. Like, oh my god, I'm not quite. So I've gone down the medical path a little bit. My friend Gary Lyman, who and him Garage, he's like trying to decode in his own way too. So I've seen some modern wizards trying to do it. The ancient stuff is like doesn't make sense to me always. It's like because there's like two layers. It's like what I figured out just an instance. For instance, like they say the throat chakra is the throat chakra is Taurus. Okay. So yes, the throat, the body of the throat, the flesh, that is Taurus, sure. But the energy is Libra, I'm sure of it. Like behind there. It's Libra and Scorpio. I know it's Libra, Scorpio. But then when it embodies itself, it's like it flips around and becomes the opposite. So there's a lot of inside outside us kind of stuff, And
about this chakra, because the fifth chakra, which most people consider like the talking, use your voice, say what you need to say, the quality of that chakra is actually listening. So,
which is Libra. That's what Libras do. Libras are open. They listen. They take it in. Plus open mouth. So it's like, yeah. And then the throat's like, no, closed. Scorpio. So I think the chakras have like a dual. Scorpio I think has twice. It's like genitals and superior, I think. Both holes, basically have a Scorpio. They're guarding it. But yeah. But so there's a lot of inside out. And I've heard stuff like, this part of the liver is this sign, but that part of the liver is that sign. I'm like, Jesus, who figured this out? I have no idea.
I don't know that.
But I'd be interested. I'll tell you right now. If you ever want to decode that, we can put our heads together. Because once you turn the numbers, then you have algorithms. And that's the thing. Step algorithms are like the next level that I haven't told anyone about. Like there are algorithms. Like there are formulas for shit. You first turn it into the number, and then you add or subtract, you multiply it. Like there's algorithms how you like, and they function in these algorithms. So I imagine that the kidney adds to this. Like all the numbers in the kidney probably add to a certain number, and a net number. I don't know. Something like that.
See, there's your wizardry coming out. I'm like, yeah.
We're just like, we will get her in the next level. Here we go. No, I wanted to code the body. I mean, that's one of them I'd like to see happen. So anything we can do to help, just let us know.
Okay.
We did have a practitioner. Well, we had Mary Magdalene through my friend Krista. I had a session with Mary Magdalene, and I was actually, kind of floored because I talked to her for like a half hour or whatever, and she basically said, she goes, step system is the base of all modalities, you
Mm.
know, and it wasn't that this is more important. It's the numbers, like numbers, the fact that numbers associated with consciousness is the basis of all modalities.
Mm.
I mean, that's the universal language is numbers, you know, so if aliens landed on the planet and they did this, we know exactly what they're talking about. Like, let's go to a rave, you know, everyone knows that. No, but it's number two. So, you know, I think people, even insects know what number two is.
Mm.
Kind of thing. So
They do?
I think so. I think they count. I bet you insects count. I bet you every animal counts, at least to 10.
Yeah, that's
I think
adorable.
so. I think so. I don't know. That's cool though. I think it's great. And so I'm wondering with diagnosis, like, so do you pay attention? So I'm just wondering if you pay attention to charts and people's pains, you know, like, because I think people do manifest stuff in the body at certain places
Sure.
based on karma. I mean, we had you shared a story with me, you don't have to now, but you know, shared a story with me last time we spoke on around New Year's or whatever, that you put together like a body issue with a past life thing. You know,
Mhm.
every time in the hospital, like every gaping wound that had to be, you know, sewn up was like a stab wound in a past life. Like at the
Mhm.
hospital, you know, so my leg still pissed at me. That's why I did it again, you know. So